Hey everybody, this is Sarah from Simply Sarah Stampin'. I'm here again to create another video showing you this, I think, very pretty rose card. I do a lot of sponging in my videos. I've done maybe one or two watercolor and I think just one with pan pastels. So I wanted to feature the pan pastels today and just show you the beautiful things you can create using the pan pastels. And because I love the watercolor look, I just think pan pastels can kind of give your cards or whatever project you're working on that watercolor look. So anyway, I'm going to move this up a little bit closer, see if we can see the shimmer on there or not. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's really small on my computer. But this is the first card I created, and then I created a second one. I needed to take some step-by-step pictures, so this was the second one. And now we are going to move on to a third one. So here we go. I am starting out with a whipped cream piece of cardstock, and it's 3 7/8 by 5 1/4 inches. That's all. That's the size I usually cut quite a bit. I don't know why I start with that. I just do. If I need to cut it down, I can do that. But I don't know. It just seems to be the size that works for me. One thing I want to warn you about is I don't know if you guys have this problem or not, but I definitely do. I have oily fingers. So if I get my fingers on the cardstock, you're going to see my fingerprints when I start putting the pan pastels on. So try to keep your fingers off as much as possible. And what we're going to do is we are going to start with the rose. Oh, I never showed you what set I'm using. It is called, oops, got to move that down. It's called Dear Rose, and it's a really pretty set. It has 3 nice sentiments on it. And oh, another thing I didn't tell you about is that this looks like it's just all one stamp, but it's not. Oops, boy, I got to really keep this in the screen. I zoomed in a little closer because I feel like my videos are always too far away. So I will try to keep it right on the screen for you to see. But yes, this card looks like the image looks like it's all one stamp, but it is not. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 stamps, and I do masking to get that look. And you'll see what that means in just a minute. So, okay, what do I do with my black ink? Here it is. The main image and the first image that you stamp is going to be the stamp. Whoops, that's really shaken. Sorry about that. It's going to be the one that you want to stamp first and mask, and it's going to be to the top. Does that make sense? It's going to be right at the top. It's going to be the top one, and everything's going to look like it's under that. All right. So we'll stamp this on. I've already got ink on my fingernails. Okay, there's that image, and then this is where I start to mask, and yeah, I know, it just looks like a pile of garbage here, but it's really not. It's very important papers that I keep. As you can tell, I have been using these, and they were used before I even did this set. It's just, I think it's a Post-it note, and it's completely sticky on the back. So once I cut it out, I always save it and stick it on the top of my image on this thing right here. It sticks right on there, and then I know, oh, I've got something cut out already. I don't have to fussy cut again. So once I get this on, I can ink up the stem here and stamp that. Hopefully, I think it's low enough so I won't get my head in the picture. Can't really see what I'm doing. Normally I'd lean over it, so hopefully this turns out. Yep, I think it will be fine. Then I did my 3 leaves. After, this is a real tricky one to cut out, but I've been pulling it off and on and it's still going. So I'm happy about that. There we go, get that on. and try and keep my oil off. Uh-oh, that little piece looks like it's starting to lose its stickiness, but that's all right. Okay, and now for this one, oops, we don't want it that way. Okay, sorry, I'm having a hard time lining things up so I don't whack the camera with my head. There's that one, and we will cover that one up and then stamp our last image. And when I do cut these pieces out, I cut them slightly smaller. That way you know that the pieces are going to touch on the edges but not actually go into what's there. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Okay, last stamp right here. There we go. And now I can pull these off and you can see that layered look. There we go. Okay, now it is time to start using the pan pastels. And of course, the first one that I need is not on here. I actually had gold on one and I thought, I'll just rub it off on my flower, and I'm not sure if it really did anything or not, but I like how the color of the flower turned out, so I'm going to put it on just in case. Oops, that was a little rough on that. Okay, here's the gold. It's nice and shimmery. And I just put a little bit on there. Now to hold it, I've got to use a Kleenex. So this can just go on really fast. I won't have to fast forward this part of the video at all, but I will be fast forwarding when I edit the video because it does take a little bit of time. So once again, it seems like the stuff that I picked to do is a little bit time consuming. However, if you like to color, I don't think you'll mind it a bit. All right, there we go. We've got all the gold on. So now we need to start with the pink color, and I do have a little cheat sheet here somewhere because I want to make sure I get the right colors. Okay, I thought that this was, oh, what is the name of it? I thought it was Watermelon Fusion. Nope, it's not. It's actually Sweet Berry. So I start with that, and I just use the stamped image as my guideline as to where I put this color. Anywhere that it's dark, I just put it on, and it does not have to be neat or anything. It just goes on. Well, I guess it needs to be a little bit neat. You don't want it all over the place, but you know what I'm saying. You don't have to do it super, super slow because the colors are going to get mixed together. And yep, I went out, and I'll show you what I do when that happens in just a minute here. Got these smaller spots, so I just tipped it over, and I'm just using the tip of it to color the small spots. Doesn't look super pretty right now at all, and it doesn't most of the time until you get right to the finishing touches on it. Oops, my computer shut off. There we go. Okay, just take a look over it and see if I got, oops, yeah, I missed a few spots. All right, I'm going to show you what I use if I do go outside the lines. One of my friends gave me this, and I don't remember who. I feel kind of bad, but it's just a nice white eraser. And look at that, it just takes the color off. And I do kind of rub it on my pants to make sure the color comes off before I put it back on. Look at that, good as new. When you are taking the little, trying to wipe these away, don't go like that, because if you do, you'll smear your pan pastels, kind of like that little piece did right there. But that'll get covered up. So we're just going to leave that. Next color I am going to use is Lemon Drop. And I need something to wipe this stuff off on every now and then too. I don't want to do it on my piece of paper here, so here's a little scrap piece of paper. As you can tell, this looks like it has different colors on it. It does, but that's all right. I just add the color, and if I don't like what's on there, then I can wipe it off a little bit more, but looks pretty clean to me. So now I'm going to come along, and this part's going to take a little bit longer because you're going up to the edge, and I'm trying to be a little bit more careful. And I'm not blending the colors together quite yet. That will happen soon enough, but if you do it too much and don't clean the brush off, then it starts to look like a mushy brown mess, and you don't want that. Now I'm going to keep doing this for a little bit, and I'll be fast forwarding through this. Okay, I think I have the yellow in pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start blending these together a little bit. And mixing those two colors really changes the color. It kind of turns it to a little bit orangish brownish. But I'm just lightly doing it. I don't want to make it too funky. And I want to clean the tip off occasionally too, because, well, you can't see it, but I've got that mixed in. It's a pretty color, but I don't want it to stay dark. We'll add a little bit of yellow as we're mixing it in. And here I get to these small spots, and I just whip through it, because by this point I'm kind of sick of doing it. You're going to go over it again anyway. All right, now we've got the colors mixed in pretty well. Still not done yet. Now I'm going to add some of that sweet berry back in. It's kind of like I'm just repeating what I did. I just want to, I guess, intensify the colors a little bit or something. I don't know. I don't know why I do what I do. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Okay, I think I've got some good color on again. I'm going to blow this off here. And once again, add some yellow. And this time I'm just pretty much blending the colors, trying to get them right where I want them. There, I think that looks pretty good. Now we can move on to the greens. And the green that I start with is Limeade Splash. It's a nice bright green. Better clean this up. That's looking pretty good. So this one I just fill the brush up. And I start at the bottom and work my way up. I don't want the color everywhere. I'm going to go back over it. I'm just trying to get the darkest colors in the bottom until it starts to wear off. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. And now I'm going to use green olive. Quite a bit different color, but that's what I want. I want those variations in there. So now when I'm using this, I'm really sticking pretty close to the lines that are in here, maybe going just a little bit over. Can you tell that on the screen? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I can see it on my end, so hopefully you can see the color variation, oops, on your end going on. I'm dabbing too. I'm not really rubbing this color on in here. That's what I did a lot for the rose too. I did a little bit of rubbing here and there, but mostly dabbing. I have no idea why I do that. I guess I like the look of it or something. Color all the way in there. Maybe a little more right there. Okay, and the last color is Fresh Forest. And that one's going to be dark. I think I grabbed a little bit too much. Kind of do the same thing as what I did with the green olive. Stick to a smaller area. I make the darker it gets on the leaves, the less I put on. Okay. The last color that I have to do is my blue. And I've got to put that tip on, so just a minute. Now the blue I start by dabbing, but I do rub this color in quite a bit more. There we go. Oh, I didn't write the color of this one down. What was I thinking? I honestly don't know what color it is. I'll have to look that up and maybe I'll put it on the screen. And I think I'm using 3 of the 4 color families for this. And of course, Pan Pastels are on sale this month. So if you're interested in buying, now's the time to do it. You'll see if you look at my blog, when I take my pictures, I take this funky picture where I've got this color like here, 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 some here, up and around here. And the reason I do this is it kind of shows me where I want it to be a little bit darker and have shadow. I don't know if my cards really look like they have it or not. I don't totally understand all that, but this is what I do to kind of keep myself in check and say these are the spots that I want to be the darkest. Maybe a little bit here too. And from this point, what I do is I start rubbing it and blending it around. So this is going to get a little bit long, so I will definitely be fast forwarding through a lot of this. So I'll rub it around, see what I like, go in and add it in these spots probably again and rub it around a little bit more until I get the look that I want. And when I'm doing it, it might blend in with some of those other colors from the rose or from the branches. I try not to do it too much because that can really make it look a little bit funky. So here we go. Okay, I think for the most part, I am pretty happy with this. I just don't want anything sticking out too much compared to the other stuff. Now, I am going to go and spray it with some hairspray. I just use an aerosol hairspray. Spray it, I don't know how long, pretty good, because you want it to definitely not smear and rub when you touch it, so that will set the pan pastels. And then after I spray that on, what did I do with them? I also am going to spritz it, and what I do is I fill this up to about here. This is the top of it, and I use rubbing alcohol. It's a 70% rubbing alcohol, and then I drop in about 7 or 8 drops of sparkle silk, which is this stuff right here, which I use a lot of, as you can tell. That just gives it that shimmer that I was trying to show you at the beginning of the video, and it's really hard to capture in pictures. So I'm going to go spray that stuff, and I'm also going to dry it with my heat gun just to speed up the process. Okay, I just got done spraying it with the hairspray and with my spritzer. As you can see, the paper's pretty curled. It's going to do that. It's getting wet, so there's nothing you can do about it. You can either just let it dry on its own, and it's almost like the paper gets a little bit more crispy and crunchy once it's dry, but you can work it back into a flat shape, if that makes sense. Working it back into a flat shape. Yep, that's what I do. So I'm going to dry it, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've got it dry and ready to work with it again. Now you can see that it curled in a way different way. So once it's dry, if it's not dry, this would bend in the middle where I'm doing that, but I just take it and curl it like this a little bit, and then when you tape it, just tape it well, and it will be nice and flat. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do has me a little bit worried. I did it 2 times and it worked, so hopefully it'll work a 3rd time. You can see these, can you see? Yeah, all these little dots right here, and I've got just a few here, couple up here. This card, I've got some there also, and more up here. Oops, sorry. Got to make sure I've got it in the right spot. A few up there. Whoops, and that is done using the graduated dots stamp. Whoops, got a glue dot stuck there. I don't even take this off and put it on a block. I don't need to do it for this. I don't want like a complete solid image. I know that I'm going to be using about this much of it, so I'm only going to ink up about that much of it. And I'm using Pool Play ink, and I'm just using a sponge and dabbing some color on. I'm not even trying to get it on everywhere. Actually, I'd be in trouble if I forgot to do something. I gotta make the card ugly again. I might have to re-sponge that. Well, that's alright, it's easy enough to do, but you've got to mask this again. If I can find my masks, here we go. Because I don't want it on the flower or on the leaves. All right. So here's our ugly card. And let's just re-ink this a little bit. I don't want it too dark, but I don't want it too light so you can't see anything either. So we will see how this goes. And I didn't, as you can see, I'm reusing my cardstock. Can't waste it, right? Okay. Don't know what this will do. It's a surprise every time. Ooh, this one's got a lot more on it. I like it though. You never know what you're going to get when you're stamping. So now we got to take the masks off. Oh, no, no, no. I can't do that. Didn't I just say I've got to have them on when I do my black silk? Yes. Shake this up good. And I wipe a lot off this because I just want really, really teeny tiny dots. So let's see if I can keep it to just really teeny tiny dots. And I lightly, very lightly, tap it. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Just a few up there and around. Okay. Maybe a little bit more here and here. There. Perfect. I'll let that dry a second because if I don't, it will smear, but it doesn't take too long. I think it should be dry by now. Okay, they're not moving on there. Now I can touch it more with my fingers too because it doesn't matter if the oil gets on there. It's set and I'm done using the pan pastels. Okay, now it's pretty again. Bend it a little bit again. And now basically all it is assembling my card. I'm using this Special Day organza ribbon. When I first got this, I thought, oh, you can see through it. I don't really like that. Now I've used it on a couple of cards where I love that you can see through it because I feel like even though you're covering this up, I mean, look at that. You can still see anything. So adding a cute little bow or knot and small words doesn't feel like you're covering up what you just made. Okay, there we go. Here is my third card done, featuring pan pastels. I absolutely love them. You can color so much stuff with them. And here's the other two cards. That was my first one and my second one. All just a little bit different, but still it's the same card. I hope you enjoyed watching me show you how I use the pan pastels and you'll give them a try yourself. I'll catch you later with another video.